the projects, the progressive projects we're calling, that we've been able to achieve over the past year. And one of the things we did is we make the decision annually to use some of our own source revenue, which are the gaming dollars, when we don't have enough money from the federal and the provincial governments. And as you've seen in each of the slides, I think it's common that there's not enough funding and not enough staff for all of the programs. And everybody that comes here to visit, I tell them, you know, you look around and you say, oh, we've got all of this infrastructure and all of the services, but I tell them that it's still not enough for the number of people that we have. So there are a number of, so we're doing a lot to try and also raise some of our own money. But some of the projects that we wanted to point out were that we were successful in doing with the new water treatment plant, which we opened in 2 years ago. It has substantially improved Six Nations' ability to ensure safe, potable drinking water for generations to come and provide the capacity to one day service the entire community. And this is another long-term goal we have that we're actively working on, is trying to secure resources so that we can get piping for the whole community so that everybody can receive water from the new water treatment plant, because it does have the capacity to provide water for the whole community. We just need to, as I said, get the resources to get the piping in. A new fire hall, thanks to the philanthropy of Grand River Enterprises, who gave us $2 million. We are building a new fire hall, and that's going to be built, I think the next date, the last date I heard was January, is that right, Matt? 2016, that we hope to open that. And it's going to provide a reliable building for our dedicated firefighters to effectively deliver the services in our community, because they are an essential services. And of course, we're going to have the new Dajo Youth and Elders Center, which will be a space. There's still a lot of work here, but it's going to be a space where community members of all ages can intermingle and get involved in recreational activities and programmings, and that's something that we're still working on. And we're hoping to get the elders and the youth involved into what kind of programming they would like to see in there. And as Dale mentioned, we are replacing bridge number 5 on Sour Springs Road, and we're really asking for the community's patience and support, and as we get that bridge replaced, because it is necessary to have it replaced, and we're told that once it is in there, it should last for 75 years, long after we're all gone, I guess. We also did, over the past, a lot of resurfacing of the roads. We also established the Development Corporation, and we just highlighted some of the projects, and because now that they are their own Six Nations Development Corporation, they will go off and they will have their own community meeting, and this just highlights some of the projects that they have worked on over the past. And they are estimating $100 million will come back into the community from these projects over the next 20 years. Some of them are the Riverbend State Housing, which I think they're having community engagement sessions on right now. The Brant Gate Solar Farm Project, First Solar Walpole Project, the Grand Renewable Energy Park, which is the one we have with Samsung, the wind and solar. Guns Hill Farm, Wind Farm, Next Era, Niagara Wind Project, which we're currently working, or the Development Corporation is working with them on. Port Dover and Nandicoke Wind Project, the Port Riders Project, and the Weldon Ridge. And the Development Corporation will continue to go out and seek more projects so that we can start generating more revenue for our community so that we can fill some of those gaps. Now, just some of the provincial political stuff we've been doing to wrap up. We've had a number of meetings over the past year, which has necessitated us to do a fair amount of traveling and to expend more dollars on traveling. But I think if people look around in the community, they can see what, we've been in here for 2 years, and I think that we've done a lot in the last 2 years. There's a lot of infrastructure going on, and we've had part of that is because we've established a relationship with a number of provincial officials, and we're hoping to establish the relationship with the federal provincials now that we have a new Liberal government in there. And we continue to advocate and raise awareness with these officials so that we can secure more funds for the community and for the completion of these projects, and also to promote our community and also to make people more aware of the struggles that we have. In May of this past year, we went too far. In May of this past year, we had a meeting with Justin Trudeau, who was then just the official leader of the Liberal Party. Now he's the Prime Minister designate. We met with him in the morning, and we met with Thomas Mulcair in the afternoon, and we took the mayor of the city of Brantford with us, along with some councillors from the county of Brant. And our main message at that time was that we wanted them to come back to the table to talk about Six Nations land rights. We've had a few meetings with Mr. Trudeau over the years, right back from when he first became an MP, so he is well aware of Six Nations, and we're looking forward to establishing a good relationship with him and his this government as soon as they get sworn in on Wednesday. We've also had the Right Honorable Paul Martin, who was down here during the campaign with Daniel Tagix, and he's continued to reach out to me, and I continue to have conversations with him on different issues, and he has promised to come back and work with our community, particularly on the education area. We also have a relationship with Kathleen Wynn. We've had a number of meetings with her on different issues, and I continue to meet with her during the Chiefs of Ontario, during the issues that we have in the different meetings. These are all provincial ministers, and I think we've established a pretty good relationship with a number of the cabinet members in the provincial government, and we've had many of them that have come to visit our community. The Minister of Aboriginal Affairs has been here for some time. We've also had meetings with the Minister of Transportation and continue to work with him on issues related to transportation, such as the bridges and the roads. We're also supporting the city of Brantford in their efforts to try and get GO service from Brantford and meetings with the Minister of Transportation. The Minister of Children and Youth Services was just here, Tracy McCharles. The Minister of Energy, we've had meetings, and we are taking part in the Chiefs Committee on Energy. Glenn Murray, who's the Minister of the Environment and the Climate Change, has been to Six Nations a couple of times to visit us. As well, we've had meetings with the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sports, Minister Michael Couteau. And I was just talking to his office today, and we'll be having another meeting with him to do a debrief on the Pan Am Games and our involvement there. Brad Duguid is the Minister of ECDEV and Infrastructure. He's also been into our community several times, and he's a good friend of Six Nations as well. And he's been here in different portfolios that he has held, as well as the Minister of Colleges, Trainings and Universities was here. And Minister Navke was here, the Community Safety and Corrections Minister was here in the spring, and he met with our fire department and also with our police services. So the Cabinet of Ontario certainly knows who Six Nations is, and they know our community because a lot of them have been here to visit us and to tour and to learn more about some of the issues that we have. And we're going to continue to have that relationship with them because they are a majority government. They're certainly going to be here for another 2.5 years. Since all of that time, Ontario and Canada combined has contributed an additional $3.7 million towards the completion of many of the projects in our community. So the relationship we have and the meetings we have and the advocacy work we do with them is certainly starting to pay off, and we just, as we know, we need to continue to do more of that. And we're committed to continue to do that and advocate and raise awareness for the additional funds that we need in our community. We are also hopeful that the elected council and the newly formed government, the federal government, will have the opportunity to build a positive working relationship. And as I mentioned, we already have a relationship established with the new Prime Minister, and as soon as they get a new Minister of Indian Affairs, we're hoping to have a meeting with them as soon as we can. Some of the other things we've done is we've also been having meetings with the municipalities, particularly the City of Brantford and Brant County, and these are just some of the issues. There's a number of the stuff that we're talking to them about, and we've taken part in the working group that they've established on Mohawk Lake. We continue to deal with them on the West Street property. As you recall, we were kind of forced to pay the back taxes on that because we didn't want to lose that property. We're continuing discussions with them on that and the province to see if we can get that resolved. There's the Mohawk drainage remediation that's going on, and in a couple of weeks some of us are going up to take a look at that. And of course we've been involved in some of the green energy projects with the County of Brant. We just did the ribbon cutting for the OBP solar park and then the Brant County one. We also take part in the Assembly of First Nations and Chiefs of Ontario meetings because I think it's important that we keep on top of what's going on regionally and nationally with respect to our rights and the issues that are going on. Six Nations is a member of the Political Confederacy of the Chiefs of Ontario, along with 7 other groups, and that includes the Grand Chiefs of the 4 provincial territorial organizations in Ontario, and as well the Independent First Nations. Akwesasne also sits there, as does the Mushkegowuk Tribal Council from the James Bay area. I was just at a retreat with them last week up in Thunder Bay, and we're getting ready for what they call the Days in the Legislature, which will happen at Queen's Park at the end of the month, where again we're going to have that access to a number of cabinet ministers to talk about issues that are more regional in nature, particularly following the signing of the political accord that was done between the regional chief and the premier in August. There's the All Ontario Chiefs Conference was held in Kenora. Some of us attended, and we saw the election of a new Ontario regional chief, who is Isidore Day, former chief of Serpent River. The Chiefs of Ontario have also established a Chiefs Committee looking at the Hydro One sales, and they had a meeting last week, and they've agreed to continue to get into negotiations to see see if it would be beneficial for First Nations to collectively buy into Hydro One.